You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 383 of East Central's favorite podcast. Jeremiah Morrell, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, and youth coach to many, Zach Burcham.
Evening.
We've got Forrest Plank in the co-host chair.
Hi, guys.
Bones, Mr. Bones,
Thank you.
Harcourt in the second co-host chair.
Howdy, y'all.
What do we have planned today, gentlemen?
We have some news out of Knightstown. Everyone apparently wants to quit.
Yeah, it does appear that there's been a mass resignation.
Yep.
Well, I was just going to say shocking. We're going to talk about the roads.
In Indiana, come on. It doesn't happen.
'Tis the season. Everybody's catching up to
We
it.
got to stroke Jeremiah's ego.
We're just
sell.
folks. We're just reporting the news. What else we got? We got some Zach. We got some DOGE stories. I know those are your favorite.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I think the show really needs a spinning wheel, and you just spin the wheel.
Spin the topic and pick the story.
What DOGE story do we have this week?
We also have some tragic news out of Knightstown as well.
R.I.P. Gene Hackman.
Coach Dale no longer. It's a doozy of a story. I'm sure everybody's heard it by the time they got to this podcast, but we got to talk about it. And Mr. Plank, there's race cars on the track this weekend. Tomorrow,
Real race cars.
real IndyCar.
Not those ones with cages all around them. It's real race
No
cars.
tin top.
IndyCar is back.
Real Dolaros, and we're going to give you all the details on the WOL BHOL Fantasy IndyCar League and how to get into that. So that's the plan. This show's about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. Mr. Bones, what do we have? Who do we have to thank?
We got Jonathan Phillips of Wetzel Ford in Richmond, Indiana, for all your Ford truck needs.
Yeah, and some sweet used vehicles too.
Oh, absolutely.
Get anything you need over there. Who else?
We got Blake Reese over at Varsity Outfitters.
Oh, the good people.
All your embroidery needs.
And they do the
And letter jackets.
right now. They got the letter jackets. The big sale on those.
He also said if you want to do like group shirts for spring break trips, they can do that too, like customize spring break shirts on the people. Like a lot of people go to Disney to do stuff like that.
Set up your family reunion
That
shirts.
sounds like hell on earth, Zach.
But you can have a T-shirt to commemorate it.
Could. What would Disney think if I showed up with a shirt that said "This is hell on earth"?
I think they can make you take it off.
I think they would take your $180.
Would they really care if they took my $200 a ticket?
I think they would.
They'd take your
They would.
$180 to get in, and then they would say, "Okay, goodbye, sir."
I think
Welcome in. Change your shirt.
you might get
Right here's the gift shop.
you might get a free shirt because they might give you another shirt. But I think they might get rid of you.
And who else, Bones? Mr. Bones.
We got Thomas Oakes over there at Walnut Ridge in RV.
Yes.
He just had his big, preseason.
Second weekend coming right up.
I think
Right?
they just wrapped up. I think
Oh,
that
yeah,
was,
that
last
was
weekend the
preseason.
second weekend.
yeah, I think that was weekend number 2.
Super Bowl's over.
Yeah.
That means camping season's around the corner.
He said there are 3 major shows of the year that they do. And that was the second one, and the third one will be in like September when the new models come out. So you're going to have to buy one off the lot now.
No,
because you got your big
no.
Mid Ohio weekend coming.
No, there are rentals for that.
You got to try if you.
We will
before you decide
test
what
the
you're gonna buy.
waters.
Before you decide what you're going to buy. Those guys are all in at $50 or more a month. If you want your business, or your whatever you've got at the top of the episode, patreon.com/BossHoggerLiberty. Join at that level or above. But if you're below that, you still get all kinds of cool stuff. You get the show notes. You get to follow along with us, get all the links to hear about what we're talking about today, and a special 15, 20-minute episode that we live stream into a Facebook group. And then it gets dropped into a private RSS feed and sent directly to your email at some point on a Thursday night.
It pays for the heat in here, and it's cold usually. So
But tonight it feels fantastic.
it's still a little cold.
Well, so secret time. Brian Nichols, our wall suite mate here, he texted and he's like, show tonight? I'm like, yeah. And apparently he took that as you want it to be cold. It was set to 59. So I cranked it up as I rolled in, but it's still sweatshirt weather right now. We may do a little strip show later and take the sweatshirt off. It warms up enough. We'll see.
Wait, if Mr. Bones, if you're stripping the sweatshirt, what's the competition's name? Who's on stage 2?
Jer Bear. All right.
Now we're forming center stage. Jer Bear.
Knightstown news, mass resignations. Have you guys been following this story the last week and a half or so?
I have. I think it's gone back a little further than a week and a half.
So it all came to a head last week, and 2 town councilors and 2 police officers, including the chief or the town marshal. I don't know which the actual. Jesse Riddle says it's town marshal.
I think it's town marshal,
but everybody says police chief, so I don't know. But legally, it's probably the town marshal.
Marshal chief.
They resigned, and I think there were 2 major points of contention. One was the town council changed overtime because the police work 12-hour shifts, but the town something to do with work rules and 12-hour shifts versus 8-hour shifts. And who gets paid overtime?
I think it was more time off was the rule versus I think it was time off of 8 hours versus 12 hours.
Well, I think if you work the 12 hours, but they're making you use all that vacation time, et cetera, and figuring out how those interface together.
Yeah, because they view it as days off, not as hours off.
Yeah. And then I'm sure you see this between salary people and production people in different jobs.
Yep.
It's the rules have to be the same for everybody, but they're not the same for everybody. You got salary people versus salary non-exempt people, and management gets treated different because, damn it, they are a little bit different sometimes. And it's never perfect. So when you got a town trying to make those decisions, and you've got somebody that runs a department versus the elected town officials, these are the things that happen.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Knightstown, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that, before the previous chief came on board, they had the same mass exodus.
Yeah, and then Frank Beatrice was the town marshal, police chief. There was also some concern or some conflict because he had signed on with the Knightstown schools to be the school resource officer as well, and the town.
He was the actual SRO.
Yes, and the town board was saying, hey, we're paying you $80,000 a year for coverage, and you're not working enough hours because now you're off doing the SRO thing. What gives?
Yep.
So a lot of conflict. The end story is that it was a 3-2 decision to go forward with the way they were. So 2 town council members resigned.
Was it really a 3-2 decision?
Well, 2 quit.
If those 2 resigned?
Yeah, 2. Well, yeah, 3 stayed and 2 quit. It's a board of 5.
Talk about taking your ball and going home.
and then the police department leaves. So then this week, a name that's very familiar to folks on this show, Landon Dean, who was a Henry County Sheriff's deputy and ran for sheriff in Henry County. He is currently the full-time police chief for Middletown, Indiana. And he lives in Knightstown, and he's been appointed to be the interim police chief for Knightstown. And he contends that, hey, I can do both. I've always had 2 jobs. I worked for the sheriff's department. I ran a business. I was the town marshal in Cadiz. So Landon, this guy was on the Memorial Park board. He's been in like the center of all of these organizations, has run straight to the dumpster fire for the moment, and he's gonna try to fix it.
Didn't he used to be on the Knightstown Town Council?
Yeah, he might have been.
I don't know that he's been on the town council.
He was involved something. They had something going on in Knightstown, and he was involved.
I think he was a town
too.
representative of some type.
He may have been an appointment to a board.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, long time, a lot of public service from Landon. So he lives right downtown in Knightstown, and now he's going to be trying to lead that group too.
Isn't everybody downtown Knightstown?
Come on now.
Oh, sorry.
Just throwing shade.
Wow.
Throwing shade.
I'm literally asking a question.
Knightstown spreads outside of the town square. There's more to it than that. There's more. Yes,
There's more than just
you
corn
have
and
3
Knightstown.
stoplights in Knightstown, but there's a little bit more than that. There's like 5 or 6 blocks each way.
Okay, so
North of 40, south of 40.
chances are, wherever Landon lives, he can probably see the police station. Knightstown's not that big.
That's what I'm asking.
He's truly in the heart of it all. I'm not going to dox his location or anything, but he lives in the heart of it all. I wish the best for him.
I think it's probably good for Knightstown, just because I remember I grew up in Knightstown, and as a kid, I remember Landon's name from growing up in the 90s, that Landon's name existed. You had Dean's Ambulance Service, which was part of his family. And I think it's a smart move by him. Like, if they can poach him from Middletown full time,
Knightstown is 1 square mile.
Take that, Bones.
It's like downtown Indianapolis.
Actually, it's 1.04 square miles, but yeah, it's a square mile.
I've walked it many, many, many election cycles.
Yeah.
I've gotten to every door in Knightstown on a number of sides.
It's a cool town.
I've ridden my bike on every street.
They've had policing issues. Just like, this isn't the first time that, and this police chief quit, and he said this basically isn't worth it. It's not worth the stress. But like, they've had issues.
I mean,
I think when he came in,
$80,000 a year is a pretty good job. 80,
Yeah.
82
I was
Well,
really
I think
surprised when I saw that. But I think when he quit, or when he came on board, prior to him, the entire department quit. So it's a redo of the same issue. So I'm not sure what the legacy
Just a rebuilding.
issue
It's
is.
just a rebuilding year for Knightstown.
Is that fired?
2.0.
Are they the ones that fired Newkirk? Or put him on leave mysteriously,
I think so.
and then they also had a police chief who got like they've had issues.
I believe they had a police.
$80,000 is solid money.
early in
though.
For
the-
Knightstown,
That's
I'm going to send Bones.
for
I'm going to
Henry
send
County,
Bones to the
period.
police academy, and we're going to get him set up. You're
Yeah.
not too old. You can do this.
I could probably $80,000. Absolutely, Knightstown.
especially
What the hell you got to do?
so what's better, Mr. Bones or Officer Bones?
Officer Mr. Bones, Mr. Officer
Officer Bones.
Yep.
Barney Fife, but taller.
I will have 2 bullets. Damn it!
You have to wear the loose belt though.
Yeah, $80,000 in Knightstown. Like,
Why
that's
is
good
the
money.
chief of police have a big brown box truck?
He hasn't moved in days.
Oh my gosh, your motto is "I'm going to deliver justice." I don't know what is. What it couldn't be.
Hang on, don't move. I got to deliver this package. I'll be back.
I hope
All
they get
right.
it straightened out. That's a nice little town, and they've got good stuff going on. But yeah,
I think Knightstown has a lot of good going for them.
but
Just need to get some stuff figured out.
they've struggled with the police department.
I wasn't going here, but there was a controversy with the town marshal in Cadiz, and he got run out of town or resigned not too long ago. And that guy just got arrested in another town for screwing with some evidence.
Really?
Yeah. Some of the local police departments need all of the attention they can get. And you really need to have healthy interactions between the town boards and the police departments, and make sure that they're functioning correctly. And you sure as hell better be able to trust the people that are in there, because we give police powers to small towns, and you've seen places like Greensboro where maybe there's 100 police officers for 100 people because it's a badge
Everybody
factory.
gets a badge.
And then you see, and they don't have to live anywhere close to us. And then you see places like Knightstown that are growing and going through changes and trying to figure out how to get police coverage. And they realize that they are 25 minutes away from where the sheriff's department is. So they're either getting coverage themselves from the sheriff's department that's on, is 25 minutes away, and maybe all the way up in Bluntsville or down in, I don't know, Middletown, wherever, dealing with something.
Especially depending on the time of the day, because overnight, you have 2 sheriff's deputies?
Yeah, 2 or 3. And then one of them could be off doing training or, who knows,
Right.
what, or paperwork. And then you get the state police.
So it's sad that you have a town that's trying to do the right thing. And all right, we want to put together a police force. And let's face it, it doesn't matter who the law enforcement agency is. If it's a small town, sheriff's department, state police, they're never right. And everyone's going to scrutinize every little thing they do. When at the end of the day, they're probably trying to do the right thing.
Small town government turns into a lot of jealousy and a lot of opinions, and it's really easy to get heard.
Yep.
Right.
And some of it can be legacy, like generational legacy. And you're just walking into a firestorm.
I mean, not everybody can be a Harcourt in Rushville. I mean, there's some,
Good luck.
All right. So, there's a good chance that all the police are up on I-70 dealing with a wrecked car.
Why?
Pothole.
Well, it's that time of day.
Henry County pothole is a flavor down at the Weenie World for a reason.
They're going to have to come up with numbers.
Just got individual craters. So the this week a story broke that Fox 59 ran out with immediately, and a semi hit a pothole that was so bad between Spiceland and Knightstown that it caused the semi to get out of control and flip over. And unfortunately, it was hauling two other semis. So we had semis strewn all over the interstate.
It was like
All over.
semi popcorn.
So it was between between Newcastle and Lexington.
It was 3 miles west of the Newcastle exit.
So
Man.
I didn't even know that pothole existed.
I've been driving right by. I didn't even notice.
the state police say a semi hauling other semis hit a pothole near mile marker 123, which is the Spiceland exit.
Yeah.
And the state police report said the pothole was about an ankle deep when they were standing in it. And that night, the DOT went out and actually patched the thing.
I think there are bigger potholes.
I think there are.
It was just that one's
It's
time.
What was so funny about that was it hit the local Facebook pages. And everybody in Harry County was like, yep, sounds about right.
Yep.
They're like,
Color me shocked.
color me shocked.
This is really not breaking news.
Then it hits the Indianapolis news. They're like, oh my God,
And
a
we're just-
pothole swallowed 3 semis.
Yeah. And all of this are just like,
It completely shut the road down. Of course, it
Yeah.
was laying sideways across the road, and that it flipped over and crushed the cab. I think the driver was okay. But yeah, so the other story that came out earlier said around 7:45 that evening indicated that westbound traffic was closed at mile marker 120. So he may have hit the pothole at 123 and got all the way to 120 before he lost control.
before the
It just had a
before
Was
the
it eastbound or westbound?
it says westbound, a 3 mile death wobble.
until like a ball joint or something gave up.
I guarantee he passed the 123 exit, got down in the valley, crossed that bridge, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
There's a spot. I don't know if it's a pothole. There's a spot on the right in the slow lane. Because if you drive it enough, you just know. I don't even. If somebody rode with me like a day or two, they'd be like, you're moving around. I'm like, yeah, because I just got to know where to be in the lane. But there's a spot in the slow lane where it's not just a pothole. It's the whole lane. Is just like there's a dip where the road's giving way. It's a mess.
I have long contended, and I think I lost my breath talking to the Ford legislators that came through this show, this election, or this General
I wonder
Assembly
what they
so
thought when
far.
we saw this story.
I hope they've all seen it. And I was begging them. I've said that we need 3 lanes on I-70 in each direction, and the right 2 lanes need to be for trucks. Left lane needs to be a passing lane, and nobody with a trailer should be able to be allowed in it. I've been saying that we need this next little section of I-70 in Wayne County. So just to our east, that needs to be 3 lanes or at least widened to it. That didn't happen. The work bid this week, and we have a $162 million contract. It was estimated to be a $189 million contract, but I think the DOGE people worked some magic in it. It was only $162 million.
Elon called and said no.
But we're going to spend $162 million on a contract that's not going to get us 3 lanes. Maybe they can find that other $20 million and get us 3 lanes.
Wait,
I don't know.
That's just for the 2-lane
That's
contract?
just to-
Yeah,
that's
they're
just
not
to put
giving
back
us
what we have.
3. Yeah.
So
Oh.
from US 35 to the Ohio line, 3 lanes. The rest of it, 2 lanes. So
the last 7 miles of the state.
that will be 3 lanes. Everything else, they're just fixing what we got. You're not getting anything new. But
That's the worst stretch of road.
You're going to have 3, but it's going to be fixed.
Yeah. In the next
Fixed
5
for 2 years.
in 5 to 6 years, it'll be fixed. 8 years, we'll need to relook at this.
Yes.
I don't know what else to tell you.
One thing
We've tried.
One thing I do wish that they would do is
If only Rob Kendall would take up the
Yeah.
cause.
I know that they contract these out. I hope that the contractors, I know they don't do this because I witnessed the aftermath, is if they come up on an area and look at the pothole and be like, we should figure out why that showed up. Because there's some spots that have had potholes, no matter how many times they fixed and repaved the road, like they completely redone the road. Still a pothole there, like within like 6 months or a year. So like there's issues under the road that they should fix.
Like,
But, like chronic.
especially if you're driving westbound on 70, you hit the rest area.
Yeah, there's one right by the rest area.
From the rest area onto 200 East, like, it doesn't matter how many times they fill that hole, it keeps coming back. It's like a blood spot under the floor.
Yeah, there's a couple right in that area that are horrible.
See, listen, you'd never want to rent after O.J. Simpson on the place. It's just
the glove did not fit.
You gotta tear it down.
Yeah, Juice wasn't that bad of a person.
Worst 752, worst opinion of the night. right there from Bones. Chase wasn't here to do it.
Excuse me?
But hey, I have not heard the word yet.
Yeah.
We're good.
I would say worst opinion of the night. That's not the curse.
Oh.
Just worst opinion of the night.
Okay.
You haven't. I know at 8:00 you're going to let it fly.
I haven't let it fly. Yeah, I might not do it.
I don't believe you.
I don't either.
Don't be spiteful now, Mr. Bones.
Thank you. I like Forrest. He remembers the name.
Zach, if you want to know what that's all about, check Patreon. Zach, over on the DOGE desk, federal workers got emails from Mr. Elon Musk that said that you have to reply by the end of Monday, or else you're going to be relieved of your duties, saying the 5 things you did last week. Please summarize them.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Aren't we all accountable to the taxpayer?
I had a lot of issues. I know I got into it with our neighbor here about it several times. The 2 problems I have with that is that one, a lot of government workers already log, record, do all kinds of stuff, and are accountable to their supervisors. My biggest problem with this is that a lot of anybody, it doesn't matter what field you're in, trying to summarize in 5 points what you did in a way that a stranger can understand what you do for a living is probably kind of difficult. And that was what it was. It wasn't a supervisor. It was just some DOGE kid or Elon. I don't know if he was going to sift through all 3 million of them himself, but trying to tell somebody this is what I did and then them hope that they understand, because it said if you didn't respond, it was going to be considered a resignation.
How much overhead does it take to surf through all of those responses to say, yep, check, you keep your job, you keep your job. Sorry, pal,
but they're not.
You're gone.
Yeah.
So later, Elon Musk said that, in fact, it was really just a test to see if people had a pulse. It was just a way for them to see if you could simply reply to an email. If you can fog up a mirror and you could send an email back, you're good.
So if somebody responded with a middle finger emoji, they were good.
Allegedly, you'd be okay.
Zach, did you reply?
I'm not that federal.
State level.
I'm in the middle. I'm like I'm a little bubble.
He's in purgatory. Then we can decide who's in charge. So he's insulated.
I just like the example I gave it in my job. I have like 3 different spreadsheets that I log things that I do, and then the system I work in also logs what I do. And I had a meeting with my supervisor to talk about what I've been doing. And so then I'm supposed to tell some stranger what I did in 5 different points. And like, there's certain jobs where I could say, yeah, here's 5 things. They look, he didn't do anything, but maybe one of those things took a day to get done. Like, you never know. Like, you deliver packages. There might be a day, well, you only delivered X number of packages. Well, they were all over the place, as opposed to, you said some days you go to a mall and you just banging out packages in one place. Your day varies, but the package count might not reflect like how much work you did. So same thing.
But what level of seriousness was it? Because
I don't know, it got
I mean, chances are over the course of a week, somebody probably took a dump while they were at work.
Yeah.
So
you always poop on company time.
I took a dump. I ate lunch. I read an email. I talked to my boss. I mean, that's 80% of the way.
I'm a professional emailer. I get an email. I figure out who I'm supposed to send that email to. I send an attachment or 2, and then I move on to the next one. And then I wait for the emails to come in.
But it's also sales.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a professional emailer. Sometimes I'll text as well, and maybe pick up the phone. I'm a millennial, so I email more than I talk.
It was a really simple. I saw a picture of the email. It was simply like, I think it was like 4 lines. It just said, send us a list of 5 things that you did last week. Failure to respond to this email. Yeah, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week, and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachments. That's great. Deadline is Monday, 11:59, and it just says this. Also, by the way, looks like the kind of email that I would get a pat on the back for flagging
calling
it
it a spam.
for flagging it as a phishing attempt. 100%.
So, in addition to that, this week, I asked Forrest, what do you want to talk about this week? And he's like, I don't know, just some Trump stuff. Trump and Elon, you pick. So I'm like, well, let's see. Let's just. We joked about, hey, let's just throw some topics out there, spin it, and see what happens.
Spin the wheel.
So I'm dropping one on Forrest now. Did you see this week, Wednesday, that President Trump said that he wants to start selling a gold card visa for U.S. citizenship?
Did you bring that up because there's a Mexican sitting just off camera?
I don't think he's worth $5 million. You are, Alex.
Completely.
I'm going to need proof of assets for $5 million. And what? Zach's got him muted, sir. You can let his mic on.
Sorry, he didn't talk to the whole Patreon segment.
So
he's on now.
So President Trump says that we want to bring in the brightest, wealthiest gringos. And amigos, and if you have $5 million, you can buy your way into this country. We had a program apparently that you could show an assets of $1 million, but now because it's President Trump, he likes the color gold. It's going to be like a gold. It's going to be a gold card instead of a green.
But
card.
It'll be gold.
$5 million, and you can buy your way into this country. Does anybody have a problem with this? He thought he could probably pay down half the national debt if he sold enough of them.
So 2 questions. Which Trump hotel would this finance? Or which Trump golf course would this finance the presidential seals to be applied?
I don't know why you think this is an embezzlement scheme. This is to pay down the national debt.
Right.
Well, yeah, we could talk about the paying down the national debt here in a minute or two. What are they going to do with the money?
They're going to put it towards the debt.
Yeah.
So if you're somewhat rich, or a lot rich.
We want more rich people.
You can buy your way into the country, which because of the socioeconomic class you fall in, you pay less taxes. So how this benefits us how?
Nothing.
Because these are jobs. These are job creators, Forrest.
Oh,
These are
job creators or tax evaders.
These are job creators.
Yes.
So I'm going to put Forrest down as neutral.
Oh, neutral. Thank you.
He's a maybe.
I'm lukewarm.
Bones, how much money would you, if you could move to another country,
okay,
and buy your way into a country, how much would you be willing to pay to get accepted into a different country, and which country would you choose?
Ooh.
So what's the budget?
Ooh.
Like how much, what do you think is a fair number to buy your way into a country, and where are you going to? That's the way I want to ask this.
So does different countries we'd say would have different prices?
Yeah, like,
like premium countries, you had to pay a little bit more.
$5 million for America.
What's your premium country, Bones?
$15,000 to move to Belize because apparently you can kill your neighbors there.
Costa Rica,
John McAfee. Use your microphone.
Costa Rica, I think, is pretty good. Sorry, I was comfortable.
It's a podcast. It's helpful if you talk. He's an executive where you work, but he's a volunteer here.
And it's to
the
me.
pay is nowhere near the same.
We're all volunteers here.
Yeah, we're all here for the love of the game.
Yeah. Let's see. We'd probably pay say $20,000, like France, Italy, something like that.
You do $20,000 for France.
Yeah.
France?
Jackie Davis
Have
is
you been
in.
to France?
Like south of France, UK. I'm not talking like Paris.
But they're all assholes.
So are you.
Yes?
So am I.
Yes.
We're going to fit right in.
But we don't pay to be here.
Yeah, we do.
I think
Yeah, we do. A lot.
Yeah,
Probably
we
more
do.
than 20,000.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with you, Bones.
So $20,000 for France. Jackie Davis is in the chat. She says she'd pay $20,000 for Poland.
What?
Poland.
Really?
Yeah. It's her
All right,
country.
Jackie, why $20,000?
I think she could have gotten in there for 12. I don't know.
I think 2.
Probably $12.
Last summer we had Victor in here, the Dane, the Danish Victor, and that was the one country that he was willing to make fun of was the Polish.
Everybody does.
I know, but
because it's usually played ping pong
because
with
we asked
World
him what
Wars.
was the stereotype, and he's like, "Oh, a bunch of Polish kids come by and steal your bike."
Yeah, because they're always. I mean,
Alex, what's Mexico's worth?
How much do we have to spend to get into Mexico?
To be in Mexico?
Yeah, not with a coyote, but to like really come in through the front door. How much do you think it would be? Apparently, America's going to be 5 million.
Not 5 million. Probably like 1 million.
1 million
$1 million
in Mexico. Ooh.
See, I'm not wealthy enough to buy my way into Mexico.
So is that how much how much is he charging, or is it just you have to have a
Dollars or pesos?
No. This is not the net worth.
This is how much you're putting down.
This is Trump saying you give me $5 million and we'll let you in. That was the program.
You think there's a payment plan?
No, I think it's cash on the barrelhead. He only wants wealth. He doesn't want broke ass people that are going to come in with a mortgage to be in here. He wants the rich people that are going to come in and do that. Or he was going to have companies sponsor them. So you could have somebody like a NVIDIA or an Oracle or someone that wants to bring somebody in from Asia.
So he's wanting to sell visas, like company-sponsored visas.
Company-sponsored visas or individuals that want to buy their way
like
in.
NASCAR visas.
Yeah.
Huh, how about that?
Don't they already do that kind of?
Yes.
Yes, but this is
that was that program
his
that
idea.
they want to expand because then those people,
H1B visas, whatever.
Because then those poor people with the sponsored visas can't leave if their employers.
They're indentured servants.
Yeah, they're indentured servants because if they can't quit because if they quit, then
Jackie
they get deported.
Mexico would pay her. I'm going to say
probably with $1 million to live as rich people in Mexico will be a really good deal.
I'm going to say I'm going to pay $1,000 for Honduras, and they would be happy to have me.
Good climate.
$1,000 going to move to a third world country.
I mean, I would have rights.
Is Honduras third world?
I would have rights in that country. I don't have to stay, but I would be their king. $1,000.
I bet they need some roads. You probably sell them some good road supplies.
We could teach them how to build.
That's all they're going to hear about in their political talks is
the road. Fix the roads, man.
These dirt roads will be paved.
Yeah, Gary Price is in the chat. He thinks it needs to be a subscription model. And I think you can't just sell it up front. You have to bleed them dry for as long as they're here.
So the House passed a budget.
Yeah. Speaking of paying down the national debt,
down Thomas Massey, the noted congressman from Northern Kentucky, where they make the bourbon that we had on Patreon. He represents the Elijah Craig Distillery. He's the one Republican.
He would represent a lot of the distilleries.
He just does Northern Kentucky, doesn't he?
He's got Northern Kentucky all the way out to like.
Does he go down to Frankfurt?
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
well, it's the Elijah Craig's not Frankfurt,
but he
Georgetown.
It's in between Louisville and Frankfurt.
No, it's not.
Don't get in the way of my story, Bones.
Well, don't fuck up the geography.
805.
Okay,
804, bitch.
He's got wild turkey. We'll see if he has Elijah Craig. We'll check that later. Zach, can you pull up a congressional map of Kentucky?
We know it's not.
Let us know what congressman has Bardstown, Kentucky, please.
My brother in Mexico is hearing this podcast right now.
I'm sorry.
So he said $100,000.
$100,000.
Wait.
Mexico is more cheapest.
No, ask him. $100,000 or 100,000 pesos? Big difference.
$100,000.
100,000.
He said here, so he's hearing the podcast. So
100 grand. That's you wanted $1 million.
I said that $1 million because
your brother just chopped you off the legs.
You think you guys are worth a little bit more money than the rest of us. So we passed a budget 217 to 215. The Republicans could lose one person, and they did. It was Thomas Massey, the representative from Northern Kentucky. Zach will let us know if he represents Bardstown or not.
Yeah. Bardstown, small town.
Massey voted no, and he said the best case scenario that this bill was going to allow was an additional $20 billion in debt over 10 years. And that was under the rosiest scenario that they had.
That's if everything goes right.
Yes.
We don't have any hiccups along the way.
Because this included spending cuts, but also tax cuts, more tax cuts.
Yeah.
Or making the tax cuts permanent that Papa Bear Trump put into place during his first term. Forrest is now also lost to the political map here, trying to figure out who
Hell yeah, I have.
who represents Bardstown, Kentucky in Congress. We have gone down. We have off track in the pothole. And lost,
shit.
and lost
Bardstown
forever.
is further south than Frankfurt.
It is south, yeah. Frankfurt's like northeast. Bardstown is due
it's
south.
further west.
It's almost due south of Kentucky, of Louisville on I-65.
Stick around me, you'll learn shit.
The important thing is that Mitch McConnell's still their senator.
And he didn't trip.
Not yet. So we passed a budget. The budget does not account for our $5,000 checks that we're going to get from DOGE when this program is over. Is that enough money for us to buy eggs?
I think the old adage of checks in the mail fits this very well.
Yeah, Elon Musk is unelected. He doesn't have an official government job, but he's announcing $5,000 checks once we've done this, and that is basically only 20% of the money that we saved. 80% of the money that DOGE is going to save us is going to go pay down the national debt,
allegedly.
And these are the promises. And 20% is going to get returned back to you, the taxpayer. So between the four of us, the American taxpayers in the room, $20,000.
One, why not pay back 100% of the debt?
Don't you want some money?
Then why keep complaining about the debt? Either we're going to have debt or we're just going to give us the money.
What's the old saying?
You can't have both.
You're writing checks with your mouth that your ass can't cash? Thank you.
I don't think so. I'm just trying to imagine how well things went the last time the government handed out a bunch of money. It just pumped up a bunch of, like, you couldn't buy lumber.
My house
couldn't buy toilet paper.
Inflation
deleted it. We just simply put it towards student loans and threw it away.
A lot of people are going to buy Mountain Dew and TVs.
Oh, the hood went crazy when they got that refund check. Like Bose speakers.
You delivered a lot of flat screen TVs after those came out.
How many of those come through big brown trucks?
Flat screen TV more than whatever should.
Really?
I wouldn't trust to buy it. First of all, I just wouldn't count on it.
They go to the stores that way too. A lot of them don't.
I just think of Ace Ventura.
One semi truck with 30,000 other TVs.
With all the other stuff.
Yeah, but they're all packed.
This has I might have one TV, two TVs a week. What do you think happened?
Yeah, I figured
the shit's not real secure back there.
Yeah, I figure when they're going to the store, they are Tetrised in there, and like when they're together, so they're not moving around, and they're strapped down. And then the back of his truck, like he probably sees they're 65, and he stops, it slides up next to him, and he goes and it slides back to the back, and then I was also
it's like ordering a monitor. You deliver a Dell monitor the same way.
Okay, but they're
smaller.
It also seems
they
like
fit on the shelf.
Likely thing to have porch pirated. Because it's just going to be in a big
I'm
box.
in Carmel, so porch pirates really aren't a thing.
Have you ever Ace Ventura a package?
I've seen a couple packages in the back of the truck that look like I Ace Ventura a package.
Have you heard stories of packages being Ace Ventura?
Well, yeah.
God, that'd be awesome.
Those guys deserved it. I ordered a steel shank for my truck once. And it was probably 40 pounds of just pure steel, but in an L. That was for the hitch of my camper. And that box looked the worst of anything I've ever seen in my life.
Why would you put that in a box?
See, that's what stretch wrap.
All I did
was ordered it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I understand you didn't pack it. But
you said you, and you had a very accusatory tone, Mr. Bones.
Why did you?
Why did you put it in the box?
Damn it, Chair Bear! Why did you put that steel shank in a box?
Chair Bear's time's up. This shift's over.
Didn't make a single dollar. First thing I heard this morning was
you're getting a $5,000 check.
That'll help with the pain and suffering. Coach Norman Dale passed away.
R.I.P.
At 95 years old. Gene Hackman.
Listen.
Along with his wife and his dog.
Listen, my practices aren't designed for your enjoyment. It's the best line out of that movie.
So,
my team is on the floor.
He's the star of Hoosiers, recorded right here in Henry County, Indiana, in 1985, 1986.
86?
In Knightstown, which is now policed by Mr. Landon Dean. Chief Landon. But the conditions of what happened are still unknown.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman was 95. His wife was in her mid 60s. No word on how old the dog was, but they were all found dead. There was a welfare check. Best case scenario, gas leak. I don't know.
It would have to be that.
I immediately thought carbon monoxide.
With everyone being dead, that's
So I wanted to talk about what movies. So like Gene Hackman's career, he did 80 different movies.
80? Really?
80 movies. And they were ranged from the 1960s to 2004.
How many of those 80 were not Superman movies?
There was quite a few.
Did he do all 3 Supermans?
Yeah, he's in for quite a few Superman.
See, hands up. I've never watched a Superman movie.
I watched that generation of him when he was the Christopher Reeve version of it. He won an Oscar for The French Connection in 71. I probably remember
That was one of his biggest ones, right?
That and Unforgiven in 1992, I guess, were his 2 Oscar movies.
Unforgiven? Really? That was like his other Oscar movie?
Yeah. Yep. The Western. So I wanted to know what you guys, because there's a few key movies that come to mind for me. Immediately, the first one I had was actually The Birdcage.
Yeah, The Birdcage is good. I laughed.
Tom Saunders, the state representative, had talked about how they had a couple of legislators where they did a fundraiser, and they were in drag, just like in The Birdcage. And I thought of the end of that movie with Gene Hackman walking out as a woman, being the super conservative senator and walking out of the Miami club as a woman. I thought that was peak. And then Behind Enemy Lines.
Yeah, that was a good one.
One was a good one.
With Owen Wilson.
Or Crimson Tide.
Yeah. Yeah, big Alabama fan. Other ones that you guys had come to mind?
Replacements.
Okay. That's a
football
movie.
Wyatt Earp.
He's in Wyatt Earp, really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Harry Price, Mississippi Burning, and Birdcage, you said was gold.
Runaway Jury was a good one.
That is a great... So that's a fantastic one.
Yeah.
That was...
Enemy of the State.
Yeah, Enemy of the State, yeah.
Runaway Jury. So he's like a tobacco attorney?
No. He was the jury.
He was one of the 2 attorneys, and somebody was trying to steal the jury, and he was getting paid.
He was the one stealing the jury.
No,
he was the political, not the political, but the think tank behind picking out the jury.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
It was like a tobacco company or somebody, and he was their person.
Firearms, I believe.
Yeah, that firearms, yep. That's it. That's a fantastic movie. How about Bat 2-1? Did you guys watch that one? That was like a niche one back in the day, like one of the few VHS tapes we had. Danny Glover and Gene Hackman.
Is that a military movie?
It was a Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. Didn't see that.
I probably walked to the grocery store and rented that from the movie counter.
Here's one.
It was probably made in the 80s.
Here's one I did not even know he was in because he's got beard. He's the blind guy in Young Frankenstein.
Really?
That has like this invites Frankenstein in and is like, because he doesn't know that he's a monster. Because Young Frankenstein is an amazing movie. I love it.
Welcome to Mooseport.
Welcome to Mooseport
That was his last movie, right?
No, Superman was his last movie.
I thought
Welcome to Mooseport was his final one that he actually made.
Oh, okay.
Whether something got re-released after the fact or whatever, but that was the last he made. That was with Ray Romano, and I think he and Ray were running for mayor of the small town up in Maine. Alex, have you seen any of these movies, or do you know who this guy is we're talking about?
I seen Hoosiers.
You've seen Hoosiers? That's fantastic. Has Forrest taken you to the Hoosier Gym?
I have not.
No,
I have not
I'm
taken
not.
him to the Hoosier Gym.
Awesome.
Man.
No,
Got to get that done.
I never been
God,
there.
such a letdown.
Got to get there. The
I hope so. Someday he invite me to see the.
He was a voice in Ants.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Any other Gene Hackman ones that come to mind? I liked him as the guy had such range, both as a villain and in comedy, and then as the ultimate coach at Hoosiers is just. I mean that
See,
is.
I always
as good as
thought
a guy.
Gene was always, the president, the general, or the coach. That's all I could really ever see him as. Birdcage was a little.
He was a senator.
Yeah.
He's a really good evil guy, though, because he could just be stone cold delivery, like I don't care if you die kind of thing. So he was, some of those he's been around forever. So
95.
95.
It really stinks.
And his wife's 30 years younger.
And she was evidently a
Welcome to Hollywood. How did they live in New Mexico?
After he retired from acting, they moved to New Mexico.
It's a weird place to move to.
It looked beautiful.
Yes, you will feel really, really nice to be there. Food, it is amazing. As Forrest. Once that you tried tacos,
We're talking New Mexico,
New
not
Mexico.
Mexico, Alex.
Not old
Ah.
Mexico. This is the new shiny one.
Green
The gringo version of Mexico.
Breaking Bad Mexico.
well, it's more near from here to Mexico.
It is. It used to be Mexico, and then we had the Spanish-American War, and we stole it because our country. We have a history of imperialism in this nation.
I know that.
We like taking shit. Okay. We're getting pretty good at it too.
We're ready to make a move on Europe.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen that movie before? just want a little bit of Greenland.
Hopefully she still
and
likes Poland.
and maybe
or-
Panama.
New Ukraine.
Anything else on Gene Hackman? Something we got back to Trump, and it's Forrest's fault.
No.
we're
No,
assigning, we're
Gene-
assigning blame.
Gene seemed like he was a good dude.
Yeah, it's
Hoosiers still his best movie.
No.
Yes.
If you look
I
on
don't know.
Dave Letterman's YouTube channel, he put up an interview today that he did, and I think it was an interview on the show for Hoosiers, like it was him promoting Hoosiers, all Letterman talking about, because he was from Danville, Illinois, and that's where he grew up. So he talked about when he was filming the show that all his friends were coming over. Like
Gene
visit him.
Hackman is from Danville, Illinois.
In that video, he said he is.
How in the hell did Danville, Illinois bring up Dick Van Dyke, Jerry Van Dyke, and Gene Hackman?
Let me double check this, because he said
They'd be the same age even.
it says born in San Bernardino, but in this video with Letterman, he talks about his elementary school buddies all coming over to visit him while he was filming, because he said, "Oh yeah, I was just from over there, so they came and visited me." So
That's incredible.
Wow.
We're gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to look into that a little more.
Fact check.
Get Shorty was a good movie
like
too.
I said, I'm listening to
he
a thing that he
Yeah.
interviewed.
Yeah, I mean, 80 movies. There's no way you're going to see them all, but that's
Hackman's family moved frequently, finally settling in Danville, Illinois, where they lived in the house. He grew up in Danville, Illinois, which is like, if people don't know,
that's why he's
like
super Midwestern.
Eastern Danville,
It's the
Illinois
first
is Indiana. Yeah, it is.
It's the first town on I-74 as you move into
It's
Illinois.
like the Richmond of the west side of Indiana in terms of. So yeah, he talks about that with the interview with Letterman and about how nice the people were here. And then he tells a fun story of people that know about Hoosiers, where they thought they were gonna fill Hinkle. They said, "Oh, we'll have to turn people away," and it turned out like the same 500 people had shown up for every other day for extras. So I think what he didn't mention this in the video, but I think what they did was they kept having to like film a scene, and then if they wanted to move to a different area, they had to move all the people
They'd
to a
move the
different
crowd.
area, so the crowd would still be. So it's the same 500 people just like moving around. So it took them 4 days to film that.
Yeah, but 500 people would have filled up the Hoosier gym.
Yeah, but not Hinkle.
Oh, it would've
That's the
been
problem. Yeah,
overcrowded.
they were good for the Hoosier gym.
Yeah.
They were not good for Hinkle.
Or
Yeah.
the little gym down in Ulitic.
So,
Did you watch the Wyatt Earp?
Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good new movie. And
we had like 3 movies that came out at the same time. Like Wyatt Earp came out and Tombstone came out at almost the exact same moment. And I still mix them up in my mind as to which one's which.
Early 90s.
And I don't know if you,
I'll be your Huckleberry.
and I don't know if you've seen that. I don't know the traduction of this, but there is like the crazy cage of girls.
The Crazy Cage?
That's where Jeremiah works on the weekends.
I don't know.
No,
Must be a Mexican spinoff, pal.
probably.
It's only available in Tijuana. Sports Bones. We have a fantasy league for the podcast and the podcast network.
You have roped me into this.
And we have, at last I looked, we had 32 teams that have gotten in so far.
God, I hope I can be the 33rd. I want to be the bubble car.
And it's going to be fun. It's a little bit more elaborate than the fantasy IndyCar was last year.
It's like your friendship you said we were going to have that you said was be fun.
You're having a great time.
Great time.
So I will say that if you're in the WHOL Facebook group, the WHOL Racing Facebook group, there's a video I posted in there explaining how to set your team names, because it's a little convoluted. You have to download the Grid Rival app, and then I want you to set up a team name and put your name in so we can actually know who we're playing against.
That's a lot of names.
I'm here to complicate your life. I just made my name for both of them because I said that with it. I don't need to be hello polo. I just set it up.
It's okay. So my league name is just my name with a random number behind it.
Correct. Yeah, but and there are some people where it's just like it doesn't even have their real name. It's just like GR, like grid rival, and then a random number. So you have to go in and you have to set. There's 2 different places to do it. You set the league name. We're getting bogged down in the details. You're gonna download the app. You're gonna use the little code that's in the Facebook group, or you can message one of us and we'll get it to you. And then each team is allocated $100 million budget, and then you choose 6 drivers, and then you choose a contract length, and you say, hey, I want this guy with me for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever. And then that whatever they're worth when the contract is up goes into your bank again. So if you buy a driver for $3 million and they're worth $20 million when the contract is up, now you've got that extra $17 million in
So
your
it's like
budget.
free agency on
We're just
steroids.
looking for value here.
So it's so you're in the value
Investment
is determined.
value.
The value
Well,
is
ROI,
determined.
baby.
The value is determined based on like how well they did in that last race or where they're at when their contract expires. Then they have to go off your team for a week and you go find another driver.
So you have to drop him for a week.
Yes. So once their contract's up, they have to be gone for a week.
Oh.
So you got to pay attention to say, okay, the Indy 500's coming up. I want somebody. I don't want to lose them before the Indy 500, but you also might want to get them while they're cheap on the road courses, because when you get to the Indy 500, they're going to be really, really freaking expensive.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of fun little stuff to play with, and then there's a premium driver, a doubling or whatever. So if there's a driver that's got a little star next to their name, you can choose one driver on your team, put the star on them, and then they give you double points that week. But it's like a value driver, so it's got to be somebody that's like $18 million or less. So
I'm regretting this.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And there's a
That's
component.
a lot of math.
And there's a component that says if your driver, they're all on teams, so it has a team shown next to it. It might say it's Foyt or Prema or Ganassi or whatever. Whichever driver beats all of their teammates, they get a bonus that week. So if you say, hey, I don't know who's going to be the best Penske car, but I could say I've got Connor Daly and I've got Stingray Robb, and those guys are both on the Hunkos Hollinger team. If you have Connor on your team and he beats Stingray, which he most likely will, and unless there's something that was horribly wrong, then Connor's going to get you 5 bonus points. So there's a lot of extra components.
Wow.
Totally different than when we would just randomly pick somebody every week.
I actually have to think about.
You're gonna have to do a little bit of strategy to be like, hey, here's the schedule, here's the races that are coming, and then you say, okay, do I want to buy somebody, like lock people in right now, or do I want to try to get them up later? Have you looked into the Zach?
No, the only thing I heard too that was a bit concerning to plan ahead for was that, and it might not be right because it was mentioned on Hinch and Rossi's podcast, is that once your contract expires with a driver, you can't sign them for a race.
They're going to be out for a week. Yeah,
they're out for a week. So I was like, what? Yep. So you can't have somebody sign for the entire season.
So the Indianapolis 500 is 6 races away. So if you sign somebody today for 5 races, so the maximum contract,
you can't have them for the 500.
You won't have them for the 500. So say you go get Joseph Newgarden today for 5 races.
Somebody
you will
did.
not have.
You know, a bunch of people did.
You won't have him for the Indy 500. He'll be unavailable to you. It's gonna be fun.
It's to go 4.
Yeah, and then you got to drop them off for the Grand Prix of Indianapolis or whatever. I think the top value anybody can be is $30 million, and that's where Alex Palou is now. So he can only go down. So essentially, if you choose Alex Palou, he has to win the race to get those maximum points, or else you're going to lose money when his contract.
He probably won't win St. Pete.
Yeah, that's the trick of it. It's really really going to be fun. And nobody knows what they're doing.
This.
Nobody knows what they're doing, right?
It'll be fun, I swear.
Literally nobody knows what they're getting into. So it's a blank sheet of paper. It's going to be like the person that goes in and chooses their NCAA bracket by color, by the team name, or by the color of the uniforms. They're going to be the one that wins. So I brace for impact. I think Christie's probably going to win. Christy Avery's probably going to win.
That's a pretty car.
Yeah.
Are you saying she doesn't know what she's doing?
He has nice teeth.
If that's the case, then I'm definitely winning.
She has not done well in previous years, but maybe this year, and she's wall mom in the league. Maybe Christy will do well this time. Time will tell. First race is this weekend. It's on Fox. Every IndyCar race of the year is going to be on Fox. You have to have your fantasy lineup picked, I think, by noon on Sunday. That's when it's going to lock down. Zach, you the voice of all of our youth, WMDH, Kevin Lee, who went from 102.5 and 1550 AM here in Newcastle to the airwaves of MS Communications and then to NBC. He was the voice of IndyCar at the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
He finally got announced to be one of the pit reporters on the Big Fox broadcast.
He did get a pit reporter gig.
He did.
Yeah,
He went from,
yesterday.
he was on Ball. He was at Ball State. He was on radio here in Newcastle, and now he's going to be the lead pit reporter, the old wily veteran pit reporter on Fox.
Yeah. I was getting a little worried for him because one, I think he is a tremendous asset to the sport because he hosts a show that I think if he wanted to, he could say, I don't need to do this. And they'd be like, okay. Because it's like an hour or 2 hours a week. And he's great on that show about just being like, we're just going to throw stuff against the wall. And sometimes he knows what's going on, sometimes he doesn't. But man, they waited so long to announce their pit reporters, and you could tell he was dancing around like he was holding off other jobs, hoping that this one would.
So, do you
come
think
through.
that Fox was trying to sign someone else and they couldn't land him?
I really am curious as to what took so long. Like, I don't know if they had to get everybody locked down, and I believe that is it Georgia Henneberry?
So they wound up with 4 different reporters going to be there. Georgia Henneberry, who was on the NBC broadcast last year.
She just had a baby.
She just had a kid.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Little, who does some work for Fox on the NASCAR side now. She's going to fill in, I think, until Georgia comes along. And then they took my mother-in-law's favorite IndyCar driver out of the car, Jack Harvey.
Plenty of time on camera though, with it looking into the camera with his eyes. So it should be happy.
He is the I think he's the most attractive pit reporter they've ever had in the history of the series.
Yeah,
I think everybody's going to say that's the case. Have you ever familiar with Jack Harvey? Pull up. You got Instagram.
as far
Bones.
as males,
Mr. Bones. Yeah, he's.
But it was so bizarre. They took. I mean, literally, they're like on track. They're like cars are unloaded and everything. And when they finally announced it, and like it was, he has a radio show. Hinch and Rossi had their show, and they released it on Thursday. And even Hinch was like, I can't talk about this yet because he wasn't sure. You could tell he wasn't sure yet when that was going to be announced. And they record that show a lot of times on like Tuesday.
Doesn't do it for me.
So Jack's a big Star Wars nerd.
That definitely doesn't do it for me.
And he's buddies with our guy Joey Molinaro.
Yeah.
So does he do voices like Joey?
I don't know. We're gonna find out. First time they get a rain race, we're gonna find out when he's trying to. I think the first Darth Vader was British, wasn't he?
I don't know.
The guy that voiced Darth Vader before James Earl Jones, the guy that actually played him was an English fellow.
Might have been, yeah.
I didn't know there was one before him.
Oh yeah. If you want to see how different those movies would have been, go back and look for a clip. There are clips online. Zach's watched too much Star Wars. Before they redid it, because I think James Earl Jones only made. This is a real
$30 and a hot dog.
I think it was like $5,000
to a baseball game.
It was like $5,000 or something like that for the original Star Wars because that character wasn't going to be a prime character or whatever. And the guy had this kind of high pitched voice and whatever, and it did not fit. And then now you listen like, oh yeah, they nailed that. So yeah, there was a different actor first.
If you're hanging on with us now, download the app, get in the league, have some fun, give yourself something to watch.
I was irritated.
There's only 17 races. I am too.
I don't want too much competition though.
This is where I'm the old millennial because I like doing it on the computer, and now it's app based.
It's not that I did it on the browser on my phone, but I just get tired of everything I do in my life requiring me to download another app. And then invariably, and I don't think this one did, create a username and a password. I'm like, I don't need a username and a password.
You logged in with your Gmail.
Yeah, but I get tired of just like
another
thing
ads.
to remember.
I don't think so, but I think you can bet. I think there's a sports betting component to it
why
as well.
not?
Yeah,
of course.
You are like the devil. Just letting all this into our lives.
Sin City, Newcastle, Indiana,
St. Petersburg, Florida. This weekend.
Problems.
Race cars on track tomorrow.
the streets of St. Pete.
FS1, FS2, Fox. Everything's right there. get your app downloaded, get in there, let's have some fun, and let's make fun of Bones when it goes horribly wrong.
It already has.
Did you get the account set up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already got the team set.
Did you choose your name?
Oh yeah.
Mr. Bones, stage
Absolutely.
1.
You want to tell us who your drivers are?
The bottom
You know
bottom
nothing.
6.
You know nothing about nothing.
I really hope.
Listen, I really don't know. I know some of these people, but like the people I picked, no idea. Signed them to 2 races.
Okay, who'd you pick?
The one I did know was Stingray Rob.
Okay,
But then I went
0 races.
Yeah, then I went Rasmussen.
Christian Rasmussen.
He's
He's sponsored by Splenda.
nice. The friend.
Devlin DiFrancesco.
Yep. Took him.
Devlin interviewed me on a podcast last year.
Oh,
Who else we got?
we're going to drop him.
Yeah.
Foster.
Louis Foster.
Yep.
He's big personal friends. So Asian Ben in that league, Louis Foster and Asian Ben are buddies.
Abel.
Jacob Abel of Louisville, Kentucky, rookie. You got a
Whoa.
lot of,
Ooh,
you got a
we
lot-
might,
you got
we
a
might
lo-
cite him
Able
more.
gotta look-
construction.
you got a lot of rookies.
And
Yeah.
Schwartzman.
And Robert Schwartzman.
Yep.
You went cheap.
You know,
I went 2 races. I got $79
You
million
ordered like his
left.
whole team on Temu.
What?
you got
You got your whole team on
Mr.
Temu.
Bones via Timu.
I'm
You know
looking
that-
for
you know those
ROI,
short-
Now,
baby.
make sure-
ROI.
Make sure you have a little star next to one of those guys because they'll get you maximum points.
Schwartzman's supposed to be very solid, though.
Yeah.
I think especially
Friend of the show, Kyle Robbins is
Yeah.
working on that.
Yeah.
Robert Schwartzman.
Really?
Yeah.
I would
He's a
check-
Prema.
especially
How's
with
that going to
the
impact his racing career?
He's working on Robert Schwartzman's car.
Good for him.
He's full in IndyCar.
I love it.
Jackie, Mr. I just forgot his name now. The dreamy
Jack
Yeah.
Harvey.
Jack Harvey. He loves to bake.
He is a baker.
He's a big baker.
I just wish I had his hair.
He is genuinely a super nice guy. He's super humble. I remember being at the track once and like we were getting to talk, and he just walked by and had his backpack. He was heading back, and it was early in his career, and he like didn't even think that like to hang around like the fans would want to talk to him or anything. He's okay, just kind of moped off or whatever. But he seems like a very nice guy.
That's that's all the program story we have. What else you guys have for final thoughts? Alex, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I think you've done a great job, and if you would like to have Bones' job for next week, we can negotiate it.
You have to come back next week.
Only $5 million.
Of course. I will be here.
Sold. Zach Burcham, final thoughts, things we got to promote.
I don't know if I have much. I've been so tired, and it's been such a busy couple of weeks. I don't have a lot bouncing around my brain, but just enjoy the weather for the one more day it lasts. It's going to be freezing again on the weekend.
I'm ready to go camping. I've got reservations for next weekend at Summit Lake, and I'm going. No matter what.
Wow.
I'm
Hope
going.
your heater works.
What's the
I
forecast?
got a furnace. It's
The
going to be
but
fine.
RV now, as long as you
Look.
Jeremiah is heavily invested in propane. He doesn't care to blow some propane.
As long as it's
RV furnaces
25 or
fire.
above, I'm good. I'll be fine. And I think I looked at the 42-day forecast. I feel comfortable
It's
on
supposed, to warm,
winterizing.
it's supposed to warm up again.
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
50 Friday.
Next week,
48,
really?
50, 50 on Friday, 48 Saturday, 54 on Sunday.
There's nothing better than early
But
season
wait,
camping.
it will snow.
Nope, I've done it in the snow.
got
Nothing better
paper
than
in
early
snow.
season camping when there's hardly anybody else out there. You got the place to yourself. The leaves aren't on the trees yet. You can hang out, look at the lake. It's quiet. It's a
You
great
say
time.
so.
It's a great time.
I'm not quite mentally prepared to take mine out of its winter home yet.
It's
Yeah, the
time.
weather forecast does not look actually too bad. Like I see 65 in the forecast, the 2-week forecast.
All right.
So
I'm all in.
Indiana is a cruel mistress when it comes to weather, though. So I'm not convinced.
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
Mr. Bones, you got a charity to promote.
Yeah.
What is
All
going
right.
on for the Boys and Girls Club of Rushco?
Boys and Girls Club of Rush County. Sorry. Lost train of thought there.
All right, hey, ready? And Bones, you've got something to promote down in Rush County for the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes. Bob Link, the local liquor establishment where we get
Can you
all our-
enunciate that so people can understand it?
Bob O. Link.
Bob O. Link, the liquor store.
Or
Liquor
if you're
store.
south of Henry County, that's Bob Link.
Shut up, Forrest. They're putting on a little charity auction for a couple very rare bottles of whiskey.
Very rare.
Very rare.
Pappy.
Pappy. We have Pappy, and we have Buffalo Trace Antique Collection.
Oh,
I've never even heard of the Buffalo Antique Collection.
because it's
So it's-
antique.
It comes out just like Pappy once a year. Highly allocated.
Straight off the barrel?
Yeah. George C. Stagg, straight from the barrel. William LaRue Weller, straight from the barrel. Then we have all the Pappies 10, 12, 15, 20, 23, and the rye.
So how does somebody get one of these bottles? They're going to be there. How do they get one?
So highest bid wins. All proceeds will be donated to the Boys and Girls Club. There are also vendors there from Hard Truth. Hard Truth will be there.
I love that.
Republic National Distributing Company, Johnson Brothers Distributors, and Koala Hawaii Rum will be there next Tuesday.
Craig DeCosta will have to tell us if that's any good or not.
Next Tuesday in Rushville, Boys and Girls Club, 7:00. Doors will open. Bidding will start at 8. Highest bid wins bottles. And
You have to be present to win.
to win. They will take cash, checks, credit cards. And like I said, all proceeds are being donated to the Boys and Girls Club.
So, what do you think it's going to take to walk away with a 23-year bottle of Pappy? Do you think there's going to be bourbon people that come in?
Is this going to be Rush County Farm money,
this-
or is this going to be bourbon money?
We're hoping a combination of both.
So you're going to have some people that really want to support it from Rush County that want a bottle of Pappy, but you're going to have some Hamilton County bourbon snobs driving
Yes.
down.
So I'm guessing Pappy 23 will probably $2,000.
That's a win-win for the Boys and Girls Club.
It's a win-win for
That's
everybody.
fantastic. So
Yeah.
Bobolink is just donating this.
Just they have
And
donated
it's
the
gonna
bottles.
it's going to get what it gets.
And then the distributors that I mentioned and Hard Truth that will be there also have some special rare release whiskeys that they're auctioning off at the end that are also donated.
So, do you have a? You don't have to tell us a specific one, but you can if you want to. Do you have any of these? You're like, I'm going to try to leave with that bottle.
No.
None of these are in the,
No,
in
'cause
the
I-
budget.
listen, if I leave
Man, I
with
was really
one,
hoping so, because that would mean a future podcast we'd have one to sample.
The microphone's better to use, but
Oh,
well, I'm just saying I would love to leave with one of these bottles, but if I leave with one of these bottles, that means
you spent some money.
That means I don't care about the money, but
It's good for the kids.
it's good for the kids, but I don't have enough that we wanted to get. If I'm getting these bottles, I'm getting them at $500 and lower. We're
You
looking
think
for the
It
thousands.
was too cheap.
Yes.
So if you spent $500 on an Eagle Rare 17, you would be okay with yourself.
I didn't hear the number.
$500 on the Eagle Rare.
Oh,
17,
absolutely.
You're okay with.
I'm
that.
definitely okay with
You'll
it.
do it. So you're going to be there bidding everything up to $500 and then run out of money.
Then
to
I'm
stop.
out. Yep.
It's- 500. Yep. Here. And then nope. Nope.
Yeah.
So there's a $500 floor on every one of these bottles. 'Cause
Absolutely.
That's what we're learning. Have you tried the George T. Stagg?
I have not this year's, but I've tried years prior.
Thomas Handy, William LaRue Weller.
So you're Weller,
Yeah.
but that's at barrel proof, so you might not be a fan.
We don't know what color it is though. That's not the special reserve.
No, it's in a clear bottle. I sent you the picture.
Sure. Yeah, you did send it. Yes.
It's the
And I shared this to the Facebook group.
It's the one
to
right next to
Patreon
the-
Facebook group.
it's right there next to the Eagle Rare. That's the Weller.
Can't
So
even
I
see
guess
it.
red
Yeah, it's-
at
it-
top.
Yeah, it's just a standard bourbon bottle. Very nice. Well, I hope it goes well. It's Tuesday night
Tuesday night, Boys and Girls Club
in
Rushville.
In Rushville. Where is the Boys and Girls Club?
Shit.
It's-
I mean, I know
it's-
where
it's-
exactly
it's
where it's
in town.
at.
why a Tuesday night? It seems kind of rare.
I think that's when they usually have their meetings for the Boys and Girls Club board. So I couldn't tell you why.
Seems like a missed opportunity.
Seems like Forrest can go down Tuesday night and walk away with a couple of nice bottles.
Let's see.
what I need.
Boys and Girls Club, Rush County, 1590 North Sexton Street, Rushville.
So it's one street. It's over by Tony Stewart Avenue.
No.
It's Sexton, isn't it, over that way?
Tony Stewart will lead into Sexton, but Sexton goes from
North south.
Forest from Foster Heights all the way down to 52.
Y'all can follow along on your Google Maps at home.
It's right there by the elementary. When you get to Domino's, take a right.
Yeah.
It's right there. Go to the stoplight. Stop sign. It's
I think that's
right there
Tony
on the
Stewart
left.
Lane right over there.
No, it's not.
I think it's all
I've lived there my whole
I
life.
don't know my
I think-
Rushville streets. I don't know.
I don't know. It's not like you drive streets. And
All
deliver
I know is
packages.
State Road 3 runs through Rushville.
Get you out as quick as you can. Forrest Plank, anything we need to know?
So we talked to Little Sports of racing. Baseball season's underway.
Yes.
That means spring is underway, getting close. And let's see, it's February 27th. So 2 weeks from this weekend, we have the Newcastle on tap. If you're going to be around town the weekend before St. Patty's Day, come out and check out Newcastle on tap. Good time. Unfortunately, I won't be around. So
I've already got my tickets.
excellent.
I'm ready.
It's usually the same weekend as Rushville St. Patrick's Day.
It is. It's
It
the
is,
same.
yep.
So if you are a truly committed consumer of the beverages,
As yourself.
you can do the Newcastle on tap, and it's over by 3-4 o'clock.
Okay.
And
There you
then
go,
you can
double dip.
find yourself a driver and get down to Rush County and just do yourself in.
Yeah.
If you're going value, you need a driver. If you want participation, you can drive yourself.
Good Lord.
I think the fun thing with the Newcastle on tap is this.
Well, there's their sponsorship we just lost.
We're not as small as Knightstown, but we're small enough that last time I left it, there were just people walking home because it's Newcastle. Chances are you're within a mile.
Were you walking home or walking to one of the other drinking
These
establishments
people were
in
walking
town?
home because there were no drinking establishments in the direction they were going. But yeah, they could have bounced up. Yeah, you were within walking distance of like 3 or 4 more bars.
I wound up
Yes.
last year. I wound up at the Elks after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
You got options
because I just didn't have enough.
The Elks looks forward to that night.
It's a good time. All right. With that, I say thank you guys very much for being a part of the show. Alex, thanks for joining us.
First time ever.
The ambassador from Tequila.
Yes, from Tequila Mexico. So thank you for the invitation, and I will be here.
You weren't
soon.
invited. You just came walking through my door.
I know,
It's a,
but
it's a-
I invited
it's
him,
a
damn it.
story as long old as time.
I arrived alone, but
He's here.
probably will be soon here.
He thinks he's getting the job.
He's predicting the future.
He's welcome to Newcastle. We'll show you to your quarters soon. Next week, county councilman, I think county council president Chad Malico will be here. That's an announcement. Zach looks puzzled. I confirmed it today. It's done.
Okay.
It's happening.
right.
I just show up. Whatever happens, I try.
We
to
got
be
Chad
the best.
Malico next week. With that, we'll see you then.